Welcome to Nourish Your Soul. Here we are today with a special guest. Her name is Jehan, and she's a graduate of Bashar University. She's also gone to San Diego Self-Heal School of Herbal Studies. So, Jehan Strouse, I'm going to have you go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself, starting with what really inspired you most to go down the path of wellness and health and be an advocate for health and wellness.
Yeah, so I think it started probably in the early 90s, maybe even 91 or 92, when I took my first herbal class back in Minneapolis, which is my hometown. And I just loved it. I just was so inspired after that class that it just kind of didn't lead me quite immediately after, nutrition and wellness directly after that, but I kind of specialized in environmental science for a while. So that was my first jump, and then it kind of organically grew into, more wellness classes later on. So the Self-Heal School was in Ocean Beach, California, which is in San Diego. And that, I think, I attended in 99, so it was some years later. And that's when it really, was very clear to me that I needed to work in natural medicine. So it was a great class taught by an older couple that have been, herbalists for 25 years. And it was just so inspirational, just learning about extractions and macerations and different species of plants and just all the medicinal qualities. It just felt so natural and so right. So fast forward to basically I was like, all right, I need to step it up and take it to the next level. So I was like, all right, what's the best natural school in the country that I could go to? And in my research, I found Bashar University, which is at the time I think was the only accredited one in Seattle, and I'd always been intrigued by Seattle, and so I applied and wrote an amazing essay, and they accepted me, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening, and the rest is history. And moved up there with my husband at the time, and then I attended last year and finished my 4-year degree. I would have been very interested in a naturopathic degree, but it was a little expensive. So I got the bachelor's in nutrition and continued with a lot of herbal science classes there, aromatherapy classes, Ayurvedic medicine, a little bit of Chinese 5-element theory, but with the focus on nutrition as my major.
Beautiful. And you had a Be Well vitamin shop as well in Seattle.
Yes, I had. In the time that I was going to school at Bashar, I was working at a health food store called Mary Dawn Healthway in an area of Seattle called Wallingford, and it was an older couple that were getting ready to retire, and the store was such a staple in the neighborhood, and they decided to close. And all of a sudden, at the time, there wasn't really a good health food store in the neighborhood or, with a lot of vitamins and supplements. So a lady that worked there and I decided to open up a health food store called Be Well Vitamin Shop. And it was wonderful. We really filled a niche in the neighborhood. I continued learning more and more. I did stretch out my education a little longer. I wasn't able to go full-time every quarter because of the store. Right. But if I had to do it all over again, I would not do it differently because, I learned so much by being at the vitamin store, and my knowledge in vitamins and stuff really helped me excel in biochemistry. And a lot of people who came to me for help, it was just so intuitive to me. But like rocket science to other people. So right. I know that having the health food store and all the trainings and education that I got there was, super complimentary to my education. And, and then for reasons beyond my control, we closed it in, I think, 2006 or something like that.
Right.
So, but my journey in wellness has, only gotten better and continued. And here we are, 2018.
Yeah, that's
2019.
That's where I met you, actually, was Be Well Vitamin. I just wanted to get that in there.
I know. Yeah, I know. That was ages ago, it seems now. So, yeah, here it is, 2019, and I do nutrition consulting on the side, and then I'm still working in the natural products industry, which, I've worked in since 99. I failed to mention an earlier part that I co-owned a health food store in San Diego before I moved up to Seattle as well. It was called Stay Well Health Foods. So that was actually an even earlier introduction to herbal sciences, and I was doing that while I was at the School of Herbal Studies. It was the oldest health food store in San Diego, and I just kind of stepped into an opportunity with a person that worked there. And we had 300 bulk herbs, so we didn't have too many of the bottled supplements. And we were it was kind of in an area that didn't get a lot of traffic, and then we had a lot of construction, so we had a lot of challenges while we had it, but it was really cool, and it was definitely a learning experience, and I got to know even more about herbs during that time. So, but yeah, as of today, I work for 20 different organic and natural companies. A lot of them are CBD, and I do some natural product consulting for stores, working on a big project right now in the French Quarter here in New Orleans, where I live. And, and I see clients on the side regularly. So I love what I do, and I have a lot of classes that are, on my list of got to take them to kind of keep on my path.
Right. So isn't it currently you are taking the alternate medical media, the cannabinoid certification program?
Yeah, so I'm taking that, the CBD certification. It's like just a quick 5-hour online class. I'm almost done with that. And then there's some others that are more intense. Like I've always wanted to be like Hippocrates Health Institute food instructor. So, but it is a bit of a commitment, because I have to go to Florida and be there for 2-3 weeks. So hasn't happened yet. And then there's another class that I have an opportunity to take. It's called NES or NES, and it's I want to take it with my friend who's one of the top geneticists in the country, Sterling Hill. She's invited me to go with her, and I've been very interested in it. But it's basically like changing the frequencies in your body with these drops called infoceuticals, and people are just having amazing healing results with it. Dr. Mercola talks a lot about it, Dr. Wendy Myers, so a lot of big-name people are really behind it, and people are getting really great results. Well, I get pulled in a lot of different directions in the vitamin and supplement and wellness industry because I have just so many interests. So, and so I'm all over the place, but it's all good stuff.
What about this continuing professional education, Neil Asher, cannabis health, medical, it looks like the Introduction to Medical Cannabis diploma course that you tagged me on. Is this, I'm unclear, is this CBD related or is this just medical?
I think that one's for medical. I think that one's medical marijuana. So I'm kind of putting that one on the back burner right now and focusing on the CBD education and then other, supplements and different modalities.
Okay.
And hopefully, if all goes well, I will get a clear light sauna to put in my backyard of my house, which is would be a great tool for me and to share with others, which would be a near infrared, mid infrared, and far infrared. So it'd be a full spectrum, amazing healing tool to enjoy and, help with others. So I've been thinking about doing wellness events at my house because I've got a pulse electromagnetic frequency machine that I've helped some people with. I have an infrared traction table. So I've often thought about how I could pool all these things together and make like a wellness day, that people could come in, and then get some juices and raw salads and stuff for the day. Make a day of it.
Yeah,
so that's another thing I have on my mind.
Awesome. Pamper yourself with Jehan for the day. That sounds really nice. Yes. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, when you were running the Be Well vitamin shop and doing the juice goddesses, business, which did you enjoy the most, or could you really pick one over the other?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I not so much for, actively running the food business. My business partner at the time ran the juice bar, which we opened a year later after the Be Well Vitamin Shop store. So we basically took the larger space next door to us and then opened up a kind of a doorway pathway between the two. So I didn't really run the food side, but
okay.
I loved running the vitamin store. Just the ordering and the new products and going to the conventions and attending trainings and just helping, so many people get great results and, return customers. And as far as the juice bar, we had these wonderful Sunday jazz brunches that were just the bomb, every Sunday. So we had so many people that would come and attend and listen to these, jazz brunches while they ate like healthy food.
Well, that sounds like
really cool.
a lot of fun. Tell us about your experience with the Ecopolitan coordinator that you were helping Dr. Adel Tel-Oren. I don't know if I'm saying his name.
Adiel Tel-Oren, yeah. He goes by Dr. T. So he's board-certified functional medicine doctor. We met years ago. He's Israeli. We met in Minneapolis. He owned the first integrative clinic in the U.S. He has since closed it. He's involved in a lot of projects. So he does a lot of lectures to doctors and then lectures to the public. So he has his more advanced, stuff that he's, to the medical community, and then kind of the dumbed down version, or presented differently to people. So we kind of got to be friends. We stayed in touch. I invited him to the New Orleans Veggie Fest. I was involved with, starting and helping and running the New Orleans Veggie Fest for 5 years before I stepped down. So we got in touch with each other one day, and I said, hey, why don't you come and do a talk here? And then not really knowing everything that he did, so he says, do you want to be my Louisiana coordinator? And I was like, well, that sounds good. I mean, I'm all about everything that you're doing, so I don't know exactly what that entails, but that sounds great. So he shows up, we do the lecture, and then he tells me all about his mobile clinic. So he basically he uses this acid called trichloroacetic acid, and it's applied with a toothpick to different lesions. It could be for melanomas and hemangiomas and different types of topical protrusions. Skin stuff, but he could do it on people's eyelids. He could use it in the vaginal tract, in the labia, and all sorts of strange areas that you can access with this acid. And it basically, successful. He's been doing it for 23 years now, and not just in the U.S., but in Israel and perhaps some other countries too. So basically, people are having great results. People were getting cut up with a mole procedure, getting these biopsies and spreading, potential cancers or whatever the lesion, had in it, and getting completely disfigured. And this acid would basically be applied to the skin with a toothpick. Sometimes you would need more treatments than one, depending on the severity of it. And it basically dries out that tissue, and it will, inhibit any of the blood growth to that potential tumor or to that lesion. So it basically just dries it out, shrinks it, and then it just pushes out of the skin and eventually sloughs off.
Nice.
So we were, so every year he would come back once or twice a year. So I would coordinate lectures and clinics in various cities in Louisiana and Mississippi, not just locally here. So we did the Veggie Fest for a while, and then I started involving him with some of my health food stores and doing lectures at my health food stores because they had interest in clients that were doing it. So, So he, that's been going on for a while. And then the last year and a half, he's been on sabbatical So he's kind of taken a break from that. But yeah, it seems that trichloroacetic acid is now getting to be popular. There's a resurgence of it with kind of more of the mainstream, I'm finding out. So, but yeah, all his lectures were always very educational and great, and he's got some wonderful YouTube videos, and we stay connected and talk regularly. He's and recently got married and lives in Florida. So I admire him very much. His website is ecopolitan.com for those that want to learn more about him. So, yeah.
Okay, so but the most exciting part about you that I'm really interested in letting our listeners learn about is the hemp related and this big hemp movement. I really feel like it's the gold rush of the future as far as health goes and helping people really take charge of actually feeding their endocannabinoids in their system. And, I see you as an expert in this field. So tell us about, what got you into focusing on being a hemp broker, I guess, and tell us a little bit about your involvement with that.
Well, I don't know if I would quite call myself an expert, but, I'm learning more and more and more every day and, using it, seeing how the results are on my dogs, on I don't have too many health problems. I take it just mostly preventatively, but just seeing the real results with people that is so immediate within 5 minutes for many things like anxiety or, if people can't sleep that night, the day that they take it, they sleep better. So nothing is quite, has that much of a quick, immediate effect. There's a few things out there, but it just was very profound. And, here we are, January 2019, and January 2018, if you had told me it'd be as crazy as it is now, I wouldn't have believed it. So it just, the movement has, caught, on fire so fast and progressed so fast. And then, of course, with the passing of the Farm Bill, and now that it's federally legal to have and grow hemp, it's kind of paving the way for CBD success, and then also the hemp textiles, clothing and biofuels and construction materials. So it's a very exciting time in the hemp world right now. And, so I, started with one CBD company that I started working with, bringing to my stores, and now I'm at 6. So, and they all are a little different, and they all have a little different, product to offer. And everybody likes a different delivery method, whether it's a vape or a candy or a CBD coffee. It's virtually in everything, a water-soluble CBD versus the oil versus a CBD water.
Well,
so I've got enough to, go ahead.
I can just testify to the Pure Hemp Botanicals company that you represent. I love the product, and everybody that I've turned on to sharing the product with is really enjoying it as well and seeing results. And for the level of quality that you get for the price point, it's awesome, and it's coming out of Colorado, and I really like that. So.
Yeah, I work for 2 of the top companies in the industry. Some of them are a little newer. But, Restorative Botanicals and Pure Hemp Botanicals, often in independent articles on best CBD oils. Both of those brands will show up in a lot of the articles. So, I'm really lucky. I work for some really great companies.
Yeah, share those articles with us so that we can have them available for our viewers and our listeners to tune in and check out with links back to you. That would be great. So was there any pivotal health challenges that you helped anyone recover, or that also was like fuel for your greater, diving into learning how to reverse disease and all of the benefits of plant medicine?
Well, I don't know if there's one that totally stands out 100%, but collectively, I definitely helped a lot of people, excuse me, dry throat this morning, take better control of their health and kind of help them, perhaps learn to be their own doctor. I don't like to work with people that want to just be told like what to do or what to take. I want to empower people to understand like the pH in the body, kind of some basic principles, where the immune system lies in the digestive tract. So, you take care of your digestion and your microbiome, and so much of the rest of your health will follow. So I really try to drive that home for a lot of people. And I have dealt with, a lot of really sick people, and, people get, good results, and then some of them not so much. And it's kind of a mix of like, okay, who's going to be compliant enough and follow through and do the work that they need to do. So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
it's definitely a two-part their process. They have to be willing to change some major behaviors, and
right.
Generally that has to do with eating habits and levels of self-love, and taking responsibility for their health.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Well, I appreciate your time and having you on the show. I want to keep this short, and tell our listeners to look for our next opportunity with Jehan, where we dive a little deeper and go into some detox topics and tools for empowering oneself in allowing and supporting the in releasing clogged up energy and bringing back some more vitality and feel-good vibes. So.
Yeah, we've got to have good chi flowing. Otherwise, we've got stagnation in the body is never good.